Okay, here we go. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone! 君も感じたらのまさに Ida! My name is IdaKyrwick, and I'm here with Norty again today for some Stardew! Are we ready? Yay!
Yay, yay!
Yeah!
Oh my god, 2 years! I only now see that. That is so much.
Yeah! I've been subscribed for 2 years! That's crazy!
How did I not get the notification? Oh, I was on the wrong screen for that. Okay, that is a bad thing. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
I love that.
welcome.
But 2 years is really a lot.
It's a lot. Oh, the taro has started coming in for the quest we had going.
Oh, nice.
Let's see how many we get today.
Ah, that means you're on the island, right?
I am on the island, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the fair by myself. Oh my god, what happened?
When does the fair start? Can I make it back in time?
I think at like probably 1 to 12?
Okay.
Something like
Right,
that.
these aren't ready. So I'll just turn those in and I'll come back. I might even have a warp totem.
Take your time. I did
I'm
not expect the cheese to get ready. The whole thing is done.
Ooh, wow.
Chalky.
I do have a warp totem. Cool.
Oh, you do? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Chili. I just realized I have not said hello to you.
Hi, Chalky.
Oh, the seas!
I was trying to work while I watched Totoro. Oh, cool. Well, since you can't hear, I'll just type.
I love it that our 2 sea friends are here. Chalky and Chili.
Yeah! Matching names. You guys should be friends. Oh, it's already started. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it has? I did not realize it.
I just saw the notification. Yeah, let me warp back.
I haven't even thought about what to display yet.
What did we do last time?
I don't remember. It has been 2 years, you gotta remember that.
That's true, yeah. Hard to remember after all that time.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was doing a lot of tailoring last time.
Oh yeah, so much clothes.
Yes.
Let's see. Should we bring any of the like wine or maybe I should pull up
definitely various things. So like from the artisan goods something like iridium quality goat cheese. Let's take one of these. Then a gem, maybe a prismatic shard. A fish.
Let's see, we get a lot for
it needs to be a variety.
Purple quality duck egg, duck feather. Yeah, anything that's iridium quality, milk or eggs, we get a lot of points for. Void egg is 1 point less, so.
Oh yeah, I packed an iridium quality
iridium quality
goat
wool.
cheese.
Okay.
Oh yeah, iridium quality
artisan
peach.
goods.
Aged
roe. Do we have any of that? That's really good.
I think we do. I'll check. We do. But that's all cheese standard quality.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Iridium quality mayonnaise, mead, and pale ale are all 8 points. Iridium quality goat cheese.
Oh, hi, Zilla. Oh, you're very
Hey, Zilla!
welcome.
Hello!
Very, very
Good to
welcome.
see you.
Where's that? A magna cap. Chanterelles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 more.
Okay, iridium quality fish that give us 8 points are albacore, angler,
I have a midnight
blobfish,
carp right
hibiscus.
now. Is
Let me
midnight
see,
carp among
midnight
that?
carp, midnight carp, midnight carp. Yes, that'll do it.
Okay, good.
That'll be good.
Let's get
Flowers and whatnot. Fairy rose and poppy are both 8.
Just any quality or iridium quality?
Iridium quality.
No, we don't have those in iridium quality.
Okay.
I will take a gold one, and that's 9.
Okay.
Oh, that should be fine. Let's go before it's over.
Okay. Okay, we gotta run.
I know from my excessive research on the fair before that if you take one of a singular category, you will get less points than you will get from having various. Like you'll get minus points basically. That's why it's important.
No.
Hmm.
It's funny because I don't know if I ever like really knew that, but I've sort of done that instinctually because I just like having a variety of things.
Okay,
what do we got in the shop?
How will this
look? Price ticket.
Oh, nice. I feel like that's not the prettiest way to display it, but it looks good. Oh, nice. 1,000 for a price ticket. That's easily done.
Bulldozer.
I did not see you do it. Ah, there's a delay. Also got bulldozer. Ox.
Hey, Mario.
Gorilla.
I'll buy 10 star tokens to get me started.
Ah! Mammoth. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Ah, I got it! Yes!
Happy, hello. Aren't these weapons cool? I might have to bring one of these home with us today. Okay, sure. I mean, I do have extra weapons that you can use already at home.
This blade is so elegant, maybe someday I'll have enough money to buy one. Huh. Just ask your wife for it.
She told me she's gonna buy one, but then she told you she's broke. What is happening?
I love that we can now distinguish which children are whose. So what's with the trash? Oh, thank you, Jody.
Oh, tourists! Oh my gosh!
Ooh, fortune telling. Yes. Ah yes, I see you at the beach. There's some kind of event taking place. You walk up to Gus and say something funny. It seems like you two are good friends. Okay. Oh, it seems you'll be leaving more than a few heartbroken. Are you playing games with those who put their trust in you?
Wow.
More than a few. How does she know?
Yeah, that was weirdly accurate considering what your plans are.
The crystal ball has moved on. Now I see you harvesting a plump, ripe melon. You're on a wonderful looking farm bursting with life. Ah, the crystal ball has gone dim. That's all I can do for you, young one. Now just keep in mind that the future isn't set in stone. Whatever I've told you today can still be changed. If you set your heart in it, farewell. Huh.
Okay, my turn. Let's see. What do I got here? Oh, you see me at the beach too. Welcome to Lioness and say something funny. Okay. Ooh, it's dark, and I see you and a certain young lady. She looks quite hopeful and eager to spend time with you. Now what's this young lady's name? I believe it starts with an A. The crystal ball has moved on. Now I see you harvesting a plump ripe melon! Okay. I mean, I don't think it takes a genius to know that I'm gonna be hanging out with my wife, but okay.
Is Abigail the only one with an A?
I think so. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head.
Alex.
Well, yeah. I don't know that Alex is a young lady, though. If so,
not.
I have not been informed.
And Asra, but Asra is a boy, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally only Abigail.
Yeah. Burger time.
Why don't you want to talk to me, Pam? Or have I already talked to you?
Is Linus around here somewhere?
I put a little dash of my zesty sauce in each patty. Wink. What does that mean, Gus?
That's very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Marnie.
Oh, Zilla became VIP.
Hey, congratulations. Is that everybody?
I mean, we can say talk to them after the judgment.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I can do for you to start it.
Alright, let's go ahead. Then we can play some games and stuff. Alright. Judgment time! How did we do?
I don't know. Having a staring contest with
Okay.
Lewis right now.
I wonder how long you'd be able to stand there and just block him. That's so funny.
It seems like indefinitely. My son has a knack for accuracy. I wonder if he got it from me. What about your other son?
Will he really just stay there forever if I block him?
Maybe, yeah.
That's really funny. Okay.
I mean, usually they get those thought bubbles, but he doesn't now.
Yeah.
Okay, give us first prize. Come on.
Okay. Results, please. Congratulations, you won first place with a rating of 104. Your prize is 1,000 star tokens. Alright, thank you.
I don't even really want to get anything else but the prize ticket, so...
Yeah. I don't know, I might spin the wheel a couple of times just for fun, but I don't know if there's anything else I need. Hey.
Oh wait, I chose the wrong one.
do the fishing thing.
I
Let's
lost
fish.
my 1-star token.
Oh no!
Sam and I are so like, oh, I gambled and lost it all to the spinning wheel. I should have went with green. Yes, I did orange too.
That bodes well for your future together. You're both so financially responsible.
Yeah, isn't there a saying like, bad luck in gambling and good luck in love? Something like that?
Oh, is that a thing?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Evelyn wants to start a collection of clown figurines.
Oh, good. Sure. That's not creepy.
George is on the verge of falling asleep. Give me a balloon. When Sandy and I were kids, we joked about running away from it all and joining the circus.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
I want to believe that they're lovers.
Oh, they probably are. Too scared to admit it to everyone else. A trait with Clint. Nah, you can't really deal with Clint.
Yay!
They win.
I got 636 star tokens from fishing.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
What's this one again? Oh, that's just buying them.
Maybe I'll get a few more and buy one of the rare crows just so I can have one on the island too.
Oh, we have so many extra rare crows.
Yeah, that's true.
We could just take one of those.
That's true. I'm gonna play the slingshot game that I suck at. I'm so bad at this, but...
Maybe I should go fishing. I don't know.
Yeah, you're really good at fishing. You could really rack it up.
Thank you! I mean, it's my favorite game in here, but I don't really need the tokens, so...
So bad at this! Ah!
The slingshot game is hard.
It's so hard!
I love that the random bobber thing also works in here.
It's so cute. The slingshot game is like a reverse bullet hell. No accuracy bonus. Yeah, not surprised. Let's just gamble.
What kind of fish
Gambling
is this?
is easier.
Just don't bet on orange. Like Sam and I. Oh no, I didn't even check what fish it was. No.
Uh-oh. Bet on green and still lost. That's okay. We'll get it back.
No. Oh, what kind of tea did you make today, by the way?
Orange blossom.
Oh, like last time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, my two go-tos that I have like huge tins of right now are the cardamom black tea and the orange blossom black tea. So most mornings I'm doing one of those. Okay. There we go. There's a win.
Oh yeah, it's morning.
Yeah, it's morning for another 10 minutes here. All right. How much are the pepper poppers? Should I try to get those too?
250, I think.
250?
Have you been up here, by the way?
Oh, I haven't. Is that where Linus is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gotta say hi to him, especially after the fortune teller talked about our friendship.
Yeah, but that was on the beach. Aw, Jazz is mooing.
That's so cute! I'm trying to talk to the baby cows. Oh, I love her! I need to be friends with Jazz, for real. She likes cows.
Yeah. Ah! Whoa!
What?
Whoa!
What?
It's the first time I'm seeing this. Over here.
Oh?
Over here.
What happened?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
shut for a second. Oh?
Look! Look who's there.
What? Oh! Oh my gosh! There he is!
I think that's the only time I've seen him outside of his cave.
Whoa!
That is crazy.
I had no idea.
Neither did I. All in.
Okay.
I lost it all again.
Oh no!
That's life.
Nice. Okay, there's another win.
I'm trying to get the 250 through the strength game.
Yeah.
I already got 2. What's the least you can get, actually? No, that's not the least. Alfredo sauce. George's knee.
Oh?
Shrimp.
Rude.
I think that's the least.
There's one
Oh,
loss. It's
wow!
fine.
0 strength. I'm actually impressed with how weak you are. He's a star token. You also get star tokens from getting 0.
Amazing. Okay. Sure, why not?
That's good to know. Now what else is there? That's not what I wanted.
Mm.
I got 0 again. Iron. Skim milk. Wet tissue. Oh my god, there's names. Let's try green again.
Oh. Goldfish.
Goldfish. Aw.
Shrimp.
I won.
Toothpick. LinkedIn. It's really funny. poppers just because.
No, I lost. Barely.
Oh no!
Nah, it's fine. It was only 16 anyways.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to do, or are we all done?
I'm good to go.
Alright. All done! We did
All
it!
done.
Sounds like a tasty tea. It is! Are you a tea person, Zilla?
That's all talk tea. I made myself a liter of Darjeeling and milk.
Huh?
Huh?
Oh, you got cut off for some reason.
I said I made myself a liter of Darjeeling and milk.
Ooh! I like Darjeeling.
I was in the mood for a black tea.
Yeah. It seems like sometimes your voice gets cut off, like, just at the very end of your sentences. I wonder if it's, like, your sensitivity settings on Discord? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Sometimes Discord settings go funky for no reason, is what I've learned.
True, yes. Discord can be weird.
I don't really know why.
Oh, the survival burger.
Ah.
Gave a buff.
Nice.
Forgot where I had the pro from.
Bedtime, huh?
No, I don't want to go to bed yet.
Of course, there's one of my children just standing in the middle of the kitchen. In the middle of the night. Sure, why not?
Oh,
yeah, that's
same
right.
here.
You're a coffee person, Zilla. I have a black coffee every morning, but I do enjoy tea every here and again. Yeah. I'm a big tea person.
Same.
I'd say, like, I've developed a little bit more of a taste for coffee than I used to. I used to really not like it, but I have a few times had, like, actually good coffee. I've been like, oh. So that's what all the hype is about.
I'm pretty much an either-or person. At home, I drink tea most of the time, but I do have the occasional coffee. And at work, I pretty much only drink coffee.
Oh.
That's interesting. But I also have, like, a gigantic selection of tea at home.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I have so many.
I have 2 full drawers filled with loose leaf tea.
Abigail! I got up early to water some crops and they were already done. You've really got this place under control. She knows. That's progress.
That is definitely better than what we had before. Oh yeah, I gotta do the animal taking thing. Oh yeah, the cat! the cat mouse.
Oh yeah? No. Okay.
We do need to be ready with a dinosaur name.
Okay.
at some point it will hatch.
That's true.
I don't think it'll be much longer.
The cat with the mouse ears is so cute.
Yeah. What would be a good name for the dinosaur?
Hi to everybody. Hi.
I'm glad that you are doing that. You are the animal person.
I have to at least say hi to my family, and I might as well say hi to everyone else while I'm there, so...
True.
How much longer do we have on that, Taro quest? 12 days. So I don't even necessarily have to go back to the island right now.
We also have wood and the prismatic shards. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did look up what gave the most chance of spawning prismatic shards last time. What was it? Was it? No.
Oh yeah, it was like there were certain levels that had a better chance.
Oh, the magic stones.
remember?
Yeah. The magic stones and the meteorite.
Guess I'll chop some trees.
Yeah, we do need that too. Start chopping down more of the pineapples that we have here. I'm scared because they're so close to the ancient.
Yeah. Oh, a mystery box. Fun. Was my inventory already full again? Oh my gosh. Let me take care of that then. I went to an event last night, and they had with the refreshments one of my favorite teas, which is from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, their Winter Dream tea. They had a tin of that, so I got to have it. I was so happy because it's like it's a winter seasonal one. So normally I wouldn't even be able to have it at this time of year, but somebody had like brought a tin of it. I was very happy.
That's so cool.
It's like very like cinnamony. It's yummy.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, a friend of mine is really into pumpkin spice coffees. So we were trying to find a seasoning pack for that. And we couldn't, so we tried making one ourselves and it did not taste that good. And then
that's unfortunate.
And then we found like a pumpkin pie spice mix. We thought maybe that could work. And for some reason it's very spicy.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if the actual pumpkin spice mix is also spicy.
Yeah, I think it varies based on what the like proportions of the different spices are, but
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely strange.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
I don't normally drink spicy coffee.
Yeah.
What do you need for the treasure troves again? Oh, by the way, it's Marnie's birthday tomorrow.
Oh my gosh! I have to give her a present. It might be too late already, though. Oh my gosh.
Tomorrow,
What does
not
she
today.
want? Oh, tomorrow! Okay. Wonder if there's something I can do on my end to make it so I'm not hearing your voice cut out. Oh my gosh.
I can try to mess with the settings a bit more. Give me a second.
Okay.
No, that should be a lot better.
Okay.
I hope so.
Okay.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
Why did you put a globe in my basement?
What? I didn't do that.
Oh yeah, Krobus, I forgot.
Yeah. I've never put anything in your basement.
Yeah, you haven't. Oh, speaking of pumpkin pie, one of Marnie's love gifts of pumpkin pie.
Oh.
And pink cake, actually.
Oh. She's got a sweet tooth. That means I should be extra sweet to her.
Oh. Well, there is a pink cake in the cooking chest.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any pumpkin
Nice.
pie, though.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever made or bought any.
I really dislike that the recipes are not sorted by alphabet.
Oh, yeah. That would be better.
Pumpkin soup. It's not what I need. Well, it might be sorted by season, actually. I think they are.
I see.
I don't have the pumpkin pie recipe.
Wonder if I do. Let me see.
Melon, wheat flour, sugar,
I'll
and
have to go
any
back and
egg.
find
I don't know if we have any melons left.
But the fortune teller told us we were gonna get some.
Ah, we do. Okay, so I can make some pink cakes, I mean.
Okay.
So, no problem. We do have one
Yay!
anyways, but I'm gonna make extra.
Nice.
What was the other thing? Eggs. Okay. I'm gonna remember to not turn the eggs into mayonnaise tomorrow. Yeah, treasure troves.
I'm out here doing some deforestation.
That's good. I just remembered that we have to do the quest too.
Yeah.
Oh, artifact trove, that's what it's called. Omni geodes, right.
Okay. Call that good for now. Go to bed. It's getting late. I know. That's why I'm going to go to bed now. Yeah.
The rusty spoon can also be gifted by a pet dog with max friendship. Does that mean we have to get a dog now?
We need to get a dog. That's how we do it.
Okay, first things first. Egg.
Aww.
What?
Abby gave me a cherry bomb.
Aww.
So sweet.
Who doesn't love explosives in the morning?
Yeah. Do I have the pumpkin pie recipe? Let's find out.
It must be from like a villager.
I
You
do. Pumpkin, wheat flour, milk, sugar. Do we have any flour?
I have a lot. But I also have the material for the pink cake, so it's fine.
Okay, yeah. Whatever works. I guess I'll take the one we already have and go find Marnie. Very important. First priority.
Of course.
I wonder if Abigail is okay with
your love for older women.
to Marnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, there's enough eggs. Okay.
There she is.
Pink cake.
Hi, Marnie. A birthday gift? That's very kind of you. I love it. Yay!
Yeah, honestly, cake as a birthday present is probably the best thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Let's go see Jazz, too. The little family is gathered around the dinner table. Wait, except Grandpa. He's wedged under the bed for some reason. Miss Penny is teaching me how to write in cursive. She has such pretty handwriting.
I still don't know what that means.
Oh? Okay.
You have a really interesting room, Shane.
Yeah.
It's very dirty. Very moist. Oh god. That was a tree.
Hi.
Hi.
The cats are fighting. Hold on. 1 second.
Oh no.
Father, your sister. Don't terrorize her. Don't do it.
Can't have fighting cats, can we? Maybe we should actually get a dog. At this rate, I feel like getting a dog, having it at max friendship, and then having the chance of the dog giving us a rusty spoon is the highest probability we have in obtaining the rusty spoon.
Considering how things have been going so far.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. Huh?
Have we had this?
Had whomst?
A chicken mask. It's funny. My gosh! A couple people in my Steam friends list seem to be opening and closing Baldur's Gate all the time.
Oh my gosh!
Keep getting the pop-ups.
I wonder why.
Probably connection issues.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the people who I see popping up are playing it together. Mystery box.
Ooh.
Please be a rusty spoon.
Please! We need it!
Hey!
Nice!
I'm gonna continue cutting down the rest of the trees though.
Just for the
in
sake of
zone.
destruction?
Yes!
Okay. I still have this movie ticket that I haven't used.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have some too, actually. I think I bought some last time. Oh, hi, Sam! Do you ever notice all the spider webs that appear during the fall? If you get up early, you will see them covered in dew like little stars. That sounds nice.
Ooh.
Do you like pink cake? I'm gonna have pizza on me right now. And cactus fruit and maple bars. I'll try. Come here, Sam. I've got a pink cake. Ah, just likes it.
I see.
Do we have a name yet?
I don't know. Can we just do Louis again?
We could, yeah. But then we need to change the sign. Or we are gonna name the dinosaur Louis 2. Or Louis 3, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
That would be actually kind of funny.
I don't know. Chat, do we have name ideas?
I would love Louis 3. Okay, it's not done yet. The egg has not finished baking. Simon?
Simon.
Interesting. Oh my gosh. We have so much wood. We need to get more stones too. We have like almost 4.5 stacks of normal wood, 2.5 stacks of hardwood, and not even a full stack of stone. Oh. What's with the bones in the chest?
I'm sending them back to the island farm to make fertilizer.
Oh yeah, because all the bone machines over there.
Yeah. Wow, day 19 of fall already. Aww. Ida give me fried, or Abigail give me fried mushroom.
Aww.
Not explosives this time. I'm surprised. Where's my other child?
Probably in bed.
Probably. Oh, there he is. He came zooming out. Aw, Marnie sent me some hay.
Oh, that's
For being
very
a
helpful.
good friend. Yeah. There we go.
My mug is slowly getting less heavy. That's very good. So many ostriches.
Let's see. Maybe I'll go back to the island and check on the taro again.
The good thing about the taro is that it's growing with irrigation. Don't need to water it.
Yeah.
Do we want to get a dog?
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Okay. Do you want to go to Marnie? Well, no, you're at the island now, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm gonna do it then.
Okay. Doggy time.
Okay. We need a bowl, a house, and the dog, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Marnie. Adopt pet. What kind of dog do we want? There's 5. Ah! The totally black and white cats look so cute.
Aww.
What kind of dog? This one looks like it's wearing a bandana. I like that.
Aww. That is cute. Abigail, do you think I could sneak my guinea pig onto the island? Nah, David's probably not much of a swimmer anyways.
We're gonna need another name. A name for a dog, everyone!
Doggy name.
Oh, also, I sent you a message.
Oh!
Oh! Oh! It is suggesting Tinana right now. I don't know.
That's pretty cute.
Filbert! Filbert the dog. Maybe Mel? Huh. That would be kind of funny because I have a friend called that.
Oh.
How about one word? Maybe Mel. Like those cheeses, the circular ones. Baby Bell. Maybe Mel.
Oh yeah!
What do you think, Zilla? Perfect? Awesome. Okay, let's go with that.
Perfect, okay.
Doghouse or doghouse? No, actually, I don't think we need that. We do need a bowl, though. How do we get a bowl? Oh, I think we need to build it at Robin's, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Still gonna get a doghouse, though. Okay, Robin, what do you need for it? Robin!
Robin!
Not seen the dog yet. Are you currently open for business? It's 5 p.m. Upgrade? No.
Hello, baby boy cat.
It's 25 hardwood and 5,000 J. Gonna make that in time? Probably not. No, I'm not.
Hi.
Next time.
Hi.
Love how you're getting visits from the cats occasionally.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna put the other bowl?
Okay, let's see.
Not found the dog.
Where's the doggy?
I don't know.
That's very odd.
I mean, Marnie did say that the pet will be upset if there's not enough water bowls. And currently,
do we need the bowl first?
I don't know. I mean, I have bought the dog, and she said that she will send the dog right over.
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't show up until the next day? I don't know. I don't think I've ever had 2 pets before, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, me neither. Especially not a dog. I usually don't go for them. But I've not checked the whole farm yet, so maybe there's just a corner that I have not checked.
Just hiding.
Yeah.
It's a shy dog.
Well, it's probably like a baby dog.
Yeah.
Doggy.
Doggy, where are you?
No, I'm not seeing anything.
Very strange.
Very. Oh! Never mind, I found him.
You found it! Okay.
The noise it makes. Oh, they're both in my house.
Oh.
Interesting. So creepy when the children are in bed and just lay there with open eyes staring at the ceiling. My gosh. Scary. Oh shoot. It looks so weird just lying there.
Why is it doing that?
It's sleeping. I'm not sure if I like this yet. Very cute. Day 20. At this rate, we're definitely gonna make it to, I was gonna say December. Winter. When it's Robin's birthday tomorrow. Well, someone having a sleep-in.
Oh wow. 2 Omni Geodes from that dig spot.
Oh nice.
I'll send all of those back to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Artifact troves.
I need them.
Where should I put
we only
the
need
bowl?
2 more taro root.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I don't know.
Next to the other, or where I put the doghouse, which is the top right, basically where Abigail's mushroom pots are.
Oh, whichever looks best to you, I guess.
Okay. Ah! Jake!
Oh!
Hi!
Hi, Jake!
I love how you come into stream to watch, and you immediately hit me. Just throw bottles at me.
Hi, omisu nomimasu!
A water and a stretch.
And a stretch. Okay, we're up.
Oh, you too,
Up,
yeah.
we're stretching. Oh, that feels good.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it when the vertebrae pop back into place after that.
Right?
Delicious.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you. Hope you're doing well. How is everything?
Yeah, how's it going? What's up? Are you in far away? Okay, Robin. I'ma go rob your place.
Oh.
Doing good. Had a good stream yesterday and resting today a lot. Good.
Nice.
Hey, you've been streaming a lot again. So much stuff. 7 hours of stream killed 17 hours of 17?
What? Oh my gosh. That's intense.
Why? Why would you do that? You can change the appearance. Oh, that's cool. Huh. Katekiro? Katekiro. Kaitekiro. Ah! Hi, how are you doing? It's very nice to have you, and I'm sorry for butchering your name. I cannot read, apparently. Green plush seat. Nice. All good. Thanks.
Oh, Leo. I'm sorry, it's hard to remember to talk normally.
Instead of screeching like a bird. Barely streamed all week, so wanted to do a longer one. Was gonna end at 12, but then had a Fall Guys party with some friends and moved on to DVD to end it all. That's quite a bit, Jake. It is kind of funny how you did not want to do a long stream, but ended up doing one anyway. That's very on brand for you. Might do another one next week. Jake!
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I wonder how different my life would be if I'd never washed up on this island.
Aww.
Oh.
I'm not sure if Leo would have a life in that case. Hydrate! Jorvins,
Back home,
thank
I
you
didn't
so
really
much.
think about birds. I never thought to listen to what they might be saying. Oh, I guess that's normal for normal kids.
I guess so. My tea is getting cold.
I wonder what normal kids would have to say about me. Do you think I could ever be a normal kid again? I guess you're right. Though living on this island has given me a lot of experiences normal kids would never have.
Have fun looking. Thank you for checking
true.
in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for lurking. If it weren't for the parrots, who knows what would have happened to me?
Do you have the cutscene where you ask Leo to come here?
Maybe. Anyways, thanks for talking to me, Ida. Maybe someday you can be a part of our family too. Aww.
Yeah, just abandon Stardew Valley and move to Ginger
Here,
Island.
let me teach you how to say let's play in parrot talk. Oh!
Very cute. You should give your ticket to Abigail. The movie ticket.
Oh yeah, that's something I could do.
It was the spooky one, right?
I think so.
Movie theater. There's some movies that some people really love, and other movies that they hate.
Oh.
Was it Mysterium?
I don't remember. It doesn't say on it now.
No, you have to check at the movie theater itself.
Ah.
I am going into town anyway, so I'll just check in. Yeah, one of them is Mysterium.
Oh, okay.
The other one, oh, that's coming soon. The Miracle at Cold Star Ranch. Okay. Abigail is one of the people who loves Mysterium, so if you want to get some extra points.
That is what it was.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I just checked the poster. Ooh. Why are you still awake?
What?
Lewis is still awake.
Ah.
Oh. He heard me being confused and is now going to bed.
Oh, okay. He's like, damn, you're right.
Aw, he closed his eyes.
Oh.
That looks weird.
Sleepy guy. There's another Omni Geode. I'll send it over.
Yeah, I might head to the desert tomorrow. Why does he have four table settings out?
That's a good question.
And 6 chairs.
Huh.
Everything is confusing at me, Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's getting late.
Sleepy time.
Okay, going to bed. Alright. I know it's just a cat here.
A cat. Kitty cat.
I still prefer the cat. I'm not much of a dog person.
Yeah.
Dogs are scary.
I like doggies. Okay.
Just gonna ship 2 more.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, Robin's birthday. What is Robin like?
What?
Probably. Spaghetti. Okay. She loved anything other than spaghetti. Oh! Robin sent me wood. What do you love? Goat cheese, peaches, spaghetti, and Woody's secret.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna give her some goat cheese.
Fair enough.
That's probably the biggest effect because that's iridium quality. Hi, birthday girl.
Hehe.
You're a regular member of the community now, don't you think? After 6 years, I hope so. Almost 7.
Okay.
Are you heading out? Alright, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, it was good to see you. Have a good day.
Take care of yourself. Chowder. Escargot. And a warp totem. Okay. Hey there. Can talk to you. Ah! No!
No?
No!
What's happening?
I'm talking to the desert trader and I wanted to get the artifact trove. And one of the things lit up because I had enough Omnigeodes for it, and it was the wrong thing.
Oh no!
So now I spent 3 Omnigeodes on a desert warp totem.
Oh, tragic. Oh no!
No. Oh, this is sad.
That is sad. Oh no!
Oh, I can help here.
Well, I'm sending you 3 more Omni Geodes, so...
Thank you. Maybe next time I'll do it right.
Yeah.
Ah, I found one too, so now we have 5. Good.
Nice.
Why do you hit so hard? No. I did 1 floor of the skull cavern, and I'm already half health.
Yeah, it's rough down there.
Mainly wanted to look for the rusty spoon, but
Yeah.
I guess getting combat experience is also nice.
Yeah. That's always good.
Where are you? Ah. Oh, magma geodes. Nice. Oh. Oh, there's flies. Sounds so weird.
Oh, man. Okay. Dig spots on the beach. Is that anything? A stone. And clay. Great, thank you.
Well, I at least just got a vertebrae, but still doesn't help.
Not a ton, no.
But it feels better than getting clay or coal.
Yeah.
For some reason, getting those makes you sad.
Yeah. Like it could have been something cool. Oh no. Okay.
I somehow expected the wind just picked up, and I expected there to be a balloon with a present flying across screen. I have not
Living
played
thing.
Animal Crossing in so long, but where did that come from?
Oh my gosh. I got kegs from prize tickets. Oh my gosh.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're on the you're here in town?
Yeah, I came back.
Hmm.
Since I finished that quest, I figured I'd come back and then I can start working on the prismatic shards tomorrow.
Yeah, it's sadly not this easy.
Yeah.
I hope that we're gonna be lucky, but considering we haven't gotten a rusty spoon in like 4 streams, I guess we should have expected this.
I guess we should have.
I don't care that it's getting late. I'm making seeds.
Gotta.
Yeah.
So maybe... Yeah, okay.
Oh, hi.
Hello. I should get to bed, huh?
Let's go sleep.
Sleepy time.
Have you seen the dog yet, by the way?
I have not.
Hey! Oh, I just realized I've got Korean milk snacks here.
Oh, nice.
And they're like candies but with milk. And they've got a cow mascot. And it just reminded me of you.
Oh, it's me. Oh, there's the doggy. Hello. Hey, doggy.
Adios.
Cute.
Or she, I guess. With maybe Mel, it sounds more like a female dog. Can you give him bones or something? I like
That's
to
a
see
question.
that.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah.
The wizard sent me a fire quartz. That's nice.
Oh. Love to see that.
Yeah. Hey.
I also still have to collect coal for Clint.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those smaller quests. I decided to be nice for once and do one of Clint's quests.
Yeah. Just this once.
Yeah, it's an exception.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
The time has come where I am too scared to go into the coop.
Oh no.
A new baby lizard hatched?
Huh?
Beb?
Lizard.
No, not Beb. It'll be Louis 3. Hello, little one.
Wow. A new baby.
A new baby has reached the farm.
Okay. Let's do some mining.
That's a really good idea. This weather's perfect for it.
Mine time, mine time. Oh, I finished a
What?
Monster Slayer goal, so that's nice. It's not even what I was trying to do, but cool.
That's an interesting dialogue.
Yeah.
It's also new, isn't it?
I think maybe done it a couple of times, but it's sometimes you can get rewards in the Adventurers Guild for slaying a certain number of monsters.
Oh, I know about that. It's just the
Oh.
Marlon is pleased. No, normally
Oh,
it
I didn't
wasn't.
see that.
Yeah, in the text. Ida
Oh.
just defeated a sludge, and Marlon is very pleased.
Oh, I guess I got so many things popping up at once that I didn't notice.
Maybe.
Oh. I guess I should talk to him at some point and see what that was about.
Good idea. Okay. I'll just hop over to the desert real quick. And buy the right thing this time.
Do you see any mystic stones anywhere?
It's the blue ones with, or the purple ones with the blue swirls.
Yeah, I'm looking for them.
Well, I did clear out the quarry just a couple days ago.
Yeah. There's a mystery box. That's good.
Nice. Gonna go to the mines too. Still gotta gather coal.
Another mystery box.
Ooh, we love a good mystery box.
You love it. Okay.
The sword is so good.
Nice.
Kills everything pretty much instantly. At least here in the skull cavern, it wasn't quite as quick.
Yeah. There we go. Oops. There we go. Let me check something really quick. Okay.
Ooh. Not getting coal. It's very unusual.
It is unusual.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten a single piece yet.
I just got some coal. There's that.
Nice. I need 10 more, and today's the last day, so... This rate, it seems unlikely I'll be getting it.
Yeah. Oh, it's already that late? Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Well, no luck today.
Just got 6 cold. That feels mean at this point. Time to head home.
It's that time.
Yeah. The time that is late. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Sort everything tomorrow.
Yeah. Good idea. Don't want to pass out, like, right next
Yeah.
to my bed again.
Don't need to cut it that close, like we always do.
Right? It'd be a shame.
Good money for just throwing away stuff. Oh! The beloved
Oh?
farmer, because I talked to my child.
Oh, okay.
Reach a 10 heart friend level with 8 people. Okay.
I see.
It's kind of funny that I got that achievement by talking to my own child.
That is funny.
Who was it, by the way? I think that's Pesto. Yeah, that's Pesto. Don't ask me to remember which child is which.
Oh yeah, that would be absurd, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
That's way too much effort. Oh, I've got something for you, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I don't know if...
Thank you! Wow!
You're welcome. I didn't want to try giving it to you in case it blows up.
Yeah! That's probably smart.
Hi, doggy.
Wait a minute. Okay, yeah.
Hi, kitty. Louis is outside.
Oh my gosh. For real this time?
Yeah, be careful, please, Louis. We don't want to lose another one.
I know, right?
But at least we always have a name for the dinosaur now if we just keep numbering Louis.
There you are! Wow! Amazing!
It is really surprising to just see it alive.
After all this time!
Yeah.
It gives me hope that we might actually find a rusty spoon, too!
I wouldn't go that far.
You never know.
Yeah. Not for sure, but I don't know. I do have a treasure, an artifact trove, so that might be something. Oh, I got the jack bug. It's George's birthday tomorrow, by the way.
Okay.
What do you gift a senile old man? Probably chilies for him to rub on his knee.
Yeah. He loves leeks, too.
True, yeah. Abigail's telling me secrets.
Secrets.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
We have 6 more days to collect 4 prismatic shards. Just in case.
Oh my gosh.
It's very unlikely that's gonna happen. Even less likely than the rusty spoon. Oh my gosh!
Oh?
I broke open the artifact trove and what did I get? Not a rusty spoon, but a treasure chest.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the most expensive item you can get out of it.
Wow.
Oh Dee, hi! How are you doing?
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Can you please bless us with the rusty spoon finding ability?
We need it.
Are you doing good? That's good to hear. Wait. Oh. Headbands. 1,000 pieces of wood again, or skeletons. 50 skeletons in the mines. We've done both, but I feel like skeletons would be something new again.
Yeah, it feels a little more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think the wood was the last one we did, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
No,
Yeah, we did just do that, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if there was one between that one and now. But I feel like it wasn't. I'm doing good too. It's been difficult finding this rusty spoon. It is a frog hood! Yes!
Yeah!
Oh, let me show you something, actually. You're gonna love this. Did you just walk into Marnie's?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost there. Ah! There's the dicks. Did not see that. I'm looking at my horse. We're matching. That's why I'm wearing all green too, because of the frog. Oh, and our cat has mouse ears.
I love that so much.
Oh, what are we gonna put on the dog?
Oh yeah!
Let me check the hats I have, actually. Since, you know, I made so many. Oh, you never started it? It is a very generally chill game, but there are times where it's definitely not chill.
Yeah.
Let's try out a couple things.
Oh! Thank you so much! For the follow. I really appreciate Arigatou gozaimasu! Glad you're here. Glad you decided to check things out on my end, too. I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
Oh, that's scary.
But yeah, this is a pretty chill game. I always say it's very forgiving because there are a lot of different things that you can do, and you kind of choose what you want to focus on, and the game doesn't really punish you or anything for not doing things fast enough or focusing more on one part of the game than the other.
Sometimes it punishes you when you're away for too long from your wife, then she'll get mad.
Yeah, but then you can make it up to her. You just have to give presents. Saka-kun! Hello, how are you doing? This area does look menacing. Yeah, I'm down very, very far in the mines here. Things are a little creepy.
I'll just leave it at that for now. Oh, you already went to the mines for the skeletons?
I was down here for prismatic shards, but
Huh.
no luck so far.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Yeah. Sometimes those stones do show up, but
I mean, we did have a couple already. Can you put prismatic shards in the crystallariums? I don't think so.
That's a good question.
I feel like we've tried it, but that would be very smart.
Yeah.
Let me check.
I think you might be able to from the what's it called? The Statue of True Perfection.
Oh yeah, you can't put it in there. Wait, actually. Yeah, no, you can't.
No.
That's very sad.
That is sad. Unfortunate.
It is a very sad day today.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I wanted to help you with the skeletons. Maybe I should still come over. What level are you? The skeletons on?
That's a good question. Let me check. 71 to 79. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not even on the right levels for them since I was looking for prismatic shards.
Oh, George really only likes two things? Or loves two things? Fried mushrooms and leeks.
Just a very discerning man.
Seems like it. It's very late to start with the skeletons now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe I shouldn't bother.
Yeah, we can start tomorrow.
Fried mushrooms. Oh my. Fried mushrooms are really good. Actually, I don't know how much you know about Christmas markets, but here fried mushrooms are one of the dishes that are commonly sold at pretty much every Christmas market.
Oh,
Usually,
I didn't know that.
what are they called? Champignons?
That is the word in both French and Spanish, so that makes sense.
What is it in English?
I don't think we, I don't know, I think we should just say fried mushroom, I don't know.
Actually? No, you also call it champignon. Or a mushroom.
Oh, really?
Button mushroom, chestnut mushroom.
Oh,
Champignon
button mushrooms,
mushroom.
okay.
Hmm. Well, there's a bunch of words for it. Okay, so fried mushroom and a leek. No. Ah! You gave her the movie ticket.
I did. Oh my gosh.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Clint apologized for writing me a letter. It's very on brand.
He's so
for him.
awkward.
Yeah. I don't see fried mushrooms anywhere. But we should definitely have... what was it? Leeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another cherry bomb in here, actually. Skeletons. And George. So much to do.
Lots and lots.
Oh, how are our hay reserves, by the way? Because we seem to be running out constantly.
Rakaka-kun, sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention to chat. We're probably gonna do my Duolingo daily and then hop on VR to play something. Are you using Duolingo for Japanese? Are you learning? Do do do. Oh, another prize ticket. Nice. Five mystery boxes. Nice.
Love that. Did you get those?
Yeah.
Oh, common mushroom for Jody.
Oh.
Yes, I know that Alex is your grandson. Where is he?
Alright. Oh, he's outside.
Oh, I didn't see him. Oh yeah. Hey there. Hey, can I ask you something? I put too much gel in my hair today, it kind of hurts. That is not a question! Also, stop hiding my horse!
What? I wouldn't do that.
Where did you put
Oh yeah,
it?
really? I hope you're learning a lot. You can practice with me anytime, by the way.
Oh yeah. Mines. Nah! Evelyn just came out of the house when I pressed on the trash can. Oh. No! Everything's going wrong right now.
No.
See, we had the same idea. Ooh.
Any special stones in the quarry? Doesn't look like it.
Floor 41 is one of those special mine floors. Ugh.
I still suck at Japanese characters. Have I recommended Wanikani to you yet? That's really what helps me the most with kanji. And it is like a paid thing, but the first 3 levels are free. So you can try it out and see if you like it. But I don't think I would have passed the JLPT N1 without it. Do those floating skull things count as skeletons?
No. At least it didn't for me.
Oh well. I guess that would be too easy, huh?
Yeah, you could just go to the more difficult mines that way.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why anyone would do that if you had the choice.
Yeah.
I already got like 7 or so. Probably more.
Okay.
11, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, I had a floor that was pretty much filled with skeletons.
Wow.
There's so much difficult area.
Are there any skeletons here?
Where are you looking?
Mines.
Then maybe. Ooh.
There are like hardly any monsters down here, honestly. Let me check that out. Yeah, give it a shot. It starts off pretty slow, but yeah.
I know why there's hardly
Hello,
any.
hello.
Because I've already been here.
Oh.
No, I'm the one with the inventory problem, by the way. Too much stuff.
There's an Omni Geode. That's helpful.
Ooh, very. Oh, it's 50! My gosh. Oh. Dang it.
Aha!
I wonder if you theoretically could take a Junimo chest with you, and once you have too much stuff, you could place it and put it in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Theoretically it should work, right?
Right? You'd think so. What's this book? Where did it go? Huh? Oh, there it is. Combat Quarterly.
Ooh,
Have I read
yeah.
that already?
Oh, that's one of those skill books that you can read multiple times and
I see.
just gives you some combat experience.
So it doesn't count towards anything else?
No, it won't be logged.
Yeah.
Stop throwing your bones. Ah, there's also a sword. A shadow dagger. Interesting.
Ah!
312, oh my gosh.
That's a lot of skeletons.
Yeah.
Nice! Hey! Just need a few more floors like that. Oh, will this do it? Is it just gonna be bats?
It's just bats.
Aw.
Not gonna spawn any more skeletons. Frozen geodes.
Oh, it's
really
already 1 a.m. Oh
yeah,
no!
we should head back.
Uh-oh!
Or take the penalty.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very close. Oh no!
good. We made it.
Oh, we were concentrating.
Yeah, we were locked in. Oh, wow, we made so much progress.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was good.
Okay, Jody wants a common mushroom. Gotta do that today too.
Spicy eel recipe from George. That'll be helpful.
Oh, I got that
Real
too,
handy.
yes.
Yeah. Both because it's really useful in the Skull Cavern and because it's one of Abigail's favorites.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Actually. Oops. I'll take that back actually. Do. There's a doggy. He looks ridiculous. Does that make him less scary to you?
I don't know. It looks very weird.
Yeah.
But none of the heads really look good on her. I don't know. Hey, Louie. Louie 3.
Okay. Back to the mines.
Mine time.
Mine time, mine time. No more skeletons there.
I'm all over the place. I wanted to go back to the coop where Louis is in. Instead, I went up to the silos to deposit the hay first. It's
Oh,
like
yeah?
completely the other end of the farm. I'm gonna make some stops on the way, but I'm also gonna come to the mines.
Okay. Should be able to get it done pretty early.
Yeah, it's not that much left.
When we can, like, go down to the plus 100 levels as, like, one last-ditch effort at the prismatic shards.
How much longer do we have for that? Is it just today? No, 4 days. Hey Jody, where are you? What?
Mystery box.
Oh.
I like that.
Oh no. I wanted to get to Quint first, but...
Aww.
Maybe?
There's always so much to do.
Ah, yes. It did end up working, which is very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Because he only locks his doors once it hits 4.
Ah.
I don't know. Where did you start? What floor?
I started at floor 70, but now I'm on 76, so you can just go to 75 and meet me.
On my way.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi.
You always gotta remember to take a big step away from you when you got bombs.
Yeah.
I always love doing those mine deep dives because it gives you a lot of resources too.
Yeah, you get so much stuff. Oh, we did it! Wow.
It was a lot easier than expected.
Okay.
You wanna go to the deeper levels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to 100 plus. Look for funky stones.
Ooh, that gave us 6,000.
Wow. That pays well.
Yeah, that was quite a lot.
Alright, no funky stones here.
I found a diamond.
Oh, cool.
Not the funky stone we want.
Yeah. Still a pretty good funky stone.
Yeah.
As these things go.
I'm also still on the frozen level, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went back up to the elevator and just went down to 100.
I planned on doing that too, but as soon as I went to the next level, there were a ton of skeletons and I couldn't resist.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Where do they spawn?
100 plus.
Oh, okay. It's not specified. A purple mushroom, does that count? It is funky.
It is funky, that's true. It's gotta count for something.
Yeah. Another one of those difficult mind floors. Difficult mind, not mind. Are you 12
Oh my
again?
gosh. That's crazy. Yeah.
Another sword. This was a different funky stone. It's an amethyst one.
That's a good one.
And a jade too. Lots of gold. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pass out for sure.
Yeah, I'm still in the
This
mines
is not
too.
gonna go well. I should have brought a warp totem.
I have one! Oh my god!
Oh.
Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. At least I saved one of us.
I actually had 3.
Oh no!
But we were on different floors, so it probably wouldn't have worked anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I left you behind to rot.
Well, it happens. It happens.
Aw, you passed out.
That's just how it is sometimes. It's fine.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta pass out.
Sometimes you gotta.
Yeah. Tomorrow is Spirit's Eve.
Yeah, already. Wow.
Hmm. Apparently, Clint noticed, what was it? Eggplant parmesan in his back rooms. Just three of them just sitting out, and then he decided to send it to me.
Why not?
I'll never understand that man.
Maybe I'll try to go to the Skull Caverns to look for funky rocks.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Where should I put, what am I saying? Geodes and stuff.
Depends on what kind of geodes.
I have 2 magma geodes, a mystery box, and 3 omni geodes.
Well, I usually just have the geodes that we can crack up by, the geode crushers.
Okay.
And the others I have in the box next to it to take with into town.
Okay.
Cause, we can't open them.
Okay, I'll put those in there.
Chicken dog.
Let's go to the desert.
Mm. Oh yeah, Omni Geos, we can keep those.
Yay.
So level 8 sword, level 13 sword.
Oh. Selling spicy eel for rubies. I should have brought rubies.
I can bring them if you want.
Oh, sure.
Rubies.
Get a bunch.
Rubies. We have 33. So at least some.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I have fish too.
Spots gave me stone and clay again. Not exactly what I was looking for.
All the stuff I don't need in there. And then desert time, quickly before Pam leaves. Can I do everything? Sure. It's good enough. Are you in the mines already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just went in.
I can give you the rubies later then, because he doesn't close.
Oh, you can trade them already if you want.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then. Oh, okay. 1 for 1. Do you want me to buy all of them?
Sure, why not? We can always use more spicy eel. It's so useful in the Skull Cavern.
Okay, I'm coming. Oh no.
Uh-oh?
Did you already go down a floor?
Yeah, I'm about to go down another.
Because
I can wait for you.
No, I went in and I immediately stumbled across a floor that, what is it called again? Where it goes funky colors and more enemies spawn.
Oh no!
I mean, it's good for the Monster Slayer gold, but...
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I dealt with it. Nice. Okay, here I am.
Hi!
Hi, do you want me to give you some eels?
Yes, please. Thank you.
There.
Oh, cool, Chucky. Oh, you're still deaf. Okay, let me know. Okay.
And maybe that's actually a good idea because they also give you luck.
Cherry palm. Maybe down here. Oh.
Oh, Omnigeo. Nice. Ah!
Nice. There we go. Check here. Oh, there's a ladder. Got it. Okay.
The only thing I found was a mummy. Oh, a hole! Okay.
Oh, I wish I could go back for it. What floor did you get to?
I jumped down 4 levels. Level 7.
Wow, I gotta catch up now.
Oh! One of those weird dragons dropped a spicy eel. Oh god, my health.
That guy kinda is a spicy eel.
My health is really bad.
Yeah, there's a ladder. Okay.
I don't have any extra food.
Oh no! You shouldn't have given me as much of the eels.
I mean, I still have a bunch of EO, but I don't want to eat all of that just for health.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Chalky coming in with a self-care train.
Oh, hi, Chalky. Hello. Let me, get to somewhere I'm sure I'm safe, and then I will do those things. Can you hear now? Oh, you don't own earphones. Okay. Interesting. There are a lot of Omnigeodes down here.
Nice.
So many.
Oh, another hole.
Oh my gosh!
I'm rushing ahead. I'm on 12 now. There's so many of those dragons, oh my god.
What can I sell here?
I think they're called serpents something. Oh no.
I like the skull caverns, they're fun.
Yeah, just can get dicey.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, big slime. Ah.
Oh, I found a hole.
Ooh.
Okay,
Where are you gonna end up?
level 9.
Still a couple floors ahead of you.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I had 2 holes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm safe for now. So let's do stretch. Hi. We're up. We're stretching. So let's see you. Oh, I needed that. Andお水飲みます. Delicious water. Very yummy. Good, good, good. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's already getting so late. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out already.
Yeah. I guess we should go. Well.
The mute when passing is working.
Nice. Nice.
I also love how Pam is driving without lights.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very safe.
I mean, all of her driving style is scary, but I feel like that's extra scary. Maybe we should switch to rubies
Actually,
instead of
I
jade.
need to take a quick break. Did we sell anything today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna take a quick break here. I will be right back. Do do do.
Uh-oh. Ida is going. Where is she going? Having secrets, I see. Ah, I love this. It's funny. Anyway, how are you all? Especially Chalky. Out in public, listening to us. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Maybe we should start thinking about calling it a day soon. Yeah, that might be a good idea. It's already getting late. Let's see what Ida'll have to say to that. I'm still seeing the fried mushroom message. Makes me hungry.
Okay, I'm back. Hello, hello.
Welcome back.
Hi. Okay. Oh, you tired?
Yeah,
I guess it's getting pretty late there, isn't
yeah,
it?
I mentioned when you were gone that maybe we should start thinking about calling it a day.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what feels good to you? Like another day, 2 days?
Yeah,
What are you feeling?
let's finish fall and
Oh, okay.
maybe quit on the 1st of winter.
Okay, sounds good. We can come back to a brand new season.
Yeah. It's Spirits Eve festival today, so
Yeah.
gonna celebrate today as well.
Sounds good to me. Okay. Empty out my inventory once again.
Same here.
Always.
And we don't have any rubies left. Otherwise I would have said we can just pop the rubies into the crystallarium and just produce them.
Oh, I do have 3 that I picked up.
Oh, good.
In the... Yeah, here.
Do you have another one for me? That way I can switch out both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
And I also came back with 10 Omni Geodes. Wow.
10.
That's a lot.
Wow. That is a lot.
That's pretty good.
Oh, hey, Pam. It is very good. Oh no! Today's festival is being set up. Come back later. Can't go into town. What about the yes. I can go to the mountains.
Oh yeah, I should go to the Adventurers Guild and get my prize.
That's where I'm going right now.
Oh yeah. Do we have any extra weapons we need to sell?
That is why I'm going.
Oh, that's why! Okay, perfect.
Wait, item recovery service? Ah. Yeah, sure, give me my salad. Oh yeah! The Adventurers Guild now sells the other galaxy weapons.
Ooh.
I could also just buy you a galaxy sword. That way we don't use prismatic shard for it. Do you want me to?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, it is bought.
Cool, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm gonna be so powerful. And the geodes that were in the geode crusher gave us the iridium ore.
Aw.
So that's cool.
Would have been blown away if you were to say a rusty spoon.
Can you imagine?
Just totally unexpected. Maybe a dig spot at the bus stop or something.
Just out of nowhere, yeah.
Where do you want me to put the sword? Do you want me to wait?
Sure. I'm heading up there now.
Okay.
For the mountains.
Nice. That's some actual panning right there.
Oh, cool.
I got some gold from it.
Where are you?
Come and find me.
Oh, hi.
Dang it!
There you are.
I wonder if I can just... Oh. No! I guess I'll have to drop it. Which we're not gonna do next to the water.
Yeah. Oh, thank you!
There you go. Now you can sell your lava katana. For like, what was
Yeah.
it? 500 gold or something?
So cool. On all these bone swords I picked up. Slime charmer ring. Prevents damage from slimes. That's handy.
That's very
Cool.
handy. Hey Robin. Just checking in on your son, who's not in, apparently. Gold pillar.
Oh, hi, Mr. Boy.
Oh, I heard that.
Hi, what's up? What's up? You want to stream with me? Oh, careful with my mug warmer. It's hot. That's the point of it.
We want an attic.
Oh, yeah.
I want it at all the rooms.
Every room.
A dining room for 150,000. I think that would be fun.
Yeah. There it is.
There's what? I haven't been up at the bathhouse in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got a dirt shirt from a dig spot.
Wonderful.
You're fit right in on the farm. What?
So well that no one will even be able to tell where you are. You'll just blend in.
I am dirt. When does it start? At 10 or something, right?
I guess. Pretty late. Guess I'll clear out the quarry, because why not?
It's Abigail's locker. It stinks pretty bad.
I'm sure it's just because she was storing something weird in there.
Probably. Oh, 77,755. That's an interesting number.
That is interesting. We need to sell 22 gold worth of something.
We can't really.
Yeah, I don't know how we would do that. Oh wait, I have the gold trash can. I wonder if that would do it. Let me see.
Oh, I do too. I forgot. Ah, that was 3. A 20G piece of clay was 3 gold pieces.
Okay, we can do this.
Oh, 3. So we need a 20 gold one. Oh, that's 10. I mean, that will work.
That's 2. Okay,
There!
wait. Oh, yes! We got it! Perfect!
Waiting for other players.
Okay, grab my horse. Let's go. Hi.
Hi!
Festival time!
Scary, scary. A funky rug. That's purple. Oh
I
wait.
kind of want to buy stuff. It's gonna break our perfect thing.
Wait. There. I took a screenshot of the number.
Okay, good. There we
Now you can buy stuff.
go.
Graced with a haunted maze. It's larger this year. It's probably got the same... Yeah. Well, no. Marnie asked if we had a successful year farming. And
Yeah.
we didn't farm that much, did we?
I mean, we did some when we needed to.
Right, watch your back, miss. Something terrible. Something terrible's in that maze. Okay.
Oh.
If I wasn't in that this blasted chair, I'd be running circles around everyone in that maze. Sure. Everyone's talking about that maze and how scary it is, and Evelyn's just, dear, can you pass the zucchini fritters, please? Ah, she's the best.
Okay.
I was in the maze for a while, but then I got hungry.
Fair enough.
Priorities. After I finish this food, I'm going headfirst into that maze. Everyone's all about that maze.
Yeah.
My gosh, Demetrius. Did you know a study in the Journal of Anthropological Physiology found that the cadence, tempo, and key of music can have a measurable impact on cortisol levels? Is there a vanilla ice cream to go with the blackberry cobbler? Okay. Sam took Vincent into the maze. I hope they're okay. Oh, they're still alive.
Yeah, they're fine. I see them.
Did you see the decorations on our house? I don't like it. What? Abigail? Abigail said she doesn't like the decorations on their house.
Why?
What did you do to it? Oh, pitiful wretch, in what fetid grotto lies your kingdom? Sometimes one must stare into the abyss to stir a languid muse.
Okay, sure.
What is wrong with everyone?
They're just getting into the spirit of the season.
I have quite the selections of wares tonight. Take a look. Oh, it does look different, does it? Let's go this way. It kind of looks different from what it usually looks like.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. Oh, you found the secret entrance too. Yes, I have.
Hehe.
It definitely looks different.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
hey!
is more complex.
Oh, why do you keep bothering me? I'm trying to forget about you. We're in a haunted maze, Sebastian. Did you find the exit yet?
Not yet.
Have you seen my sister? Emily, can you— I actually came across her, yes. Oh, it is bigger than it was.
How do I get over there?
It's very big. Oh my god, Sam, what did you drink? Wait, is this? Okay, no, it's not. Haha.
Oh, how did you do that?
Just choose one of the lower hedges. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay. Oh! It exploded.
Oh no.
just a prize ticket. Also, why is there another?
What does it mean?
Ah, take the secret shortcut back? No. I feel like there's more to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll just go back.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if it changes every year now.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Be very cool. Oh. That minecart is not normally there, is it?
No, it's not.
So they caved a hole into the mountain just for this.
I guess so.
Haven't talked with Harvey yet. I'm afraid to say I'm quite puzzled on this one. Not talk to Alex either.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I see something.
You see something?
Yeah, come over by the monster cages. Well, when you're done, I guess.
Yeah. I don't care that much about Alex either, anyway, so I'm on my way. Oh! I saw another something. I don't think... Well, it's too far away, but the wizard and Linus are over here.
Oh, how do you get to them?
I don't know. The cages. Yeah. It's the dwarf here again. Huh?
Do you see him?
Is that him? It's very dark.
Yeah, it's not the dwarf, but...
Oh, it's Krobus! We can't talk to him.
Yeah, I wish we could.
That's super cool though. Did you see the wizard and
Yeah.
Linus?
I did not.
They're over here.
Is there a way to get to them?
I don't think so. I've tried.
Oh, yeah.
They're just
Huh.
barely out of rage.
Huh.
No. Doesn't seem like there's a
Peculiar.
way. So Sebastian, since when are you so smart that you can make it through this maze? Ah, found you. I think I heard a girl screaming! She needs my help! Yeah, that must have been Haley. She's right there. I don't see any more secrets.
Alrighty. Well, I guess that's everything, huh?
I guess so. I'm trying to see if there's anything.
Yeah.
other than what we have already found, but it doesn't seem like it. Because I don't want to miss out on a big secret. Oh, apparently it does change depending on the year, but odd and even years.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Come on. Did you not wear your glowing ring?
Oh yeah, I don't think I am wearing it right now. Why? I don't remember why.
So we're standing in darkness.
Yeah. Okay. Bedtime, I guess. Did I say hi to the dog today? I need to make sure that we get a good relationship with her. So that
So we get the spoon.
eventually she will give it to us. Okay.
I can just switch out one of the funky black rugs I have for a funky purple rug.
Yeah. And
The face in the moon. It's raining.
final day. What if we could get 4 prismatic shards on one day?
That would be pretty cool.
The rain, it gets me excited. So funny. Oh, there's stuff done in my kegs. Apple wine! Nice.
Marlon, I found your lost item. Be more careful next time. A salad from like 10 streams ago.
Yeah, sure.
Do I need to get more geode crushers? The amount of geodes we have. Big spot!
Whoa.
Coal. We need to forget that we're looking for the spoon.
Yeah.
Only then
That's
we
when
will
it'll
receive
show
it.
up.
Yeah. Well, we gotta ask our moms for it.
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount of ostriches in this barn. 6.
Got more ostriches than we know what to do with.
Yeah. Got 6 of them.
Okay.
Need more seed makers.
Yeah. Alright, let's go turn in this prize ticket. That's something I can do.
Do, do, do.
Do, do, do.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
A duet.
It's time for a duet!
Yeah.
The ancients.
Magic rock candy.
Yeah, that's good.
Star drop tea. Nice.
The ancient fruits are spreading.
Nice.
I'm getting a whole bunch of seeds. I want to go to Clint today still, so hurry up, please.
Your ex is just standing at the end of the dock in the rain.
Oh, that X. Yeah. I thought you meant
You
the
should
letter.
just enjoy it alone, don't you think? Is he telling me to go away?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
He's still
that's
trying to get
rude.
over me after all.
I'm just a reminder.
Ooh, ice cream. Ice cream in one of the mystery boxes.
Oh.
I haven't given Sam a pizza in a while. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, maybe.
No, romance up his best friend. Where would Sam be now? got a soggy pizza for you.
His favorite.
Yeah. It
Everybody loves
hydrates.
the soggy pizza.
Yeah. Oh, cutscene. You're part of the cutscene.
Oh, I'm there?
Yeah, I'm just making some popcorn. Ah. Let's skip the PTSD cutscene. Are you hid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Kent. Where's Sam?
Where is he?
It's so late, you shouldn't be working or anything.
Oh, the wandering trader.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about her. Are you in here? No.
My inventory is so full though.
Well, if I find Sam now... No. It's not here. Well, screw Sam. For today, at least.
For today.
I think she stopped selling at 8, does she? Yeah, she's gone.
Cut out her inventory.
She's gone. So I left my post for nothing.
Oh no.
Sam, I'm coming! Switching up my things real quick. Soggy pizza! Ah! When did you get home and into bed? What?
Oh no! What?
Should I eat the pizza in his bed while he is sleeping right beside me?
Yes, I think you should.
I did.
It's what he deserves.
Truly.
That's what you get.
He's gonna wake up next morning just like, what's with all those crumbs?
Somehow I feel like I had a really crummy sleep.
Vincent is pretending to be asleep. He's lying with his face to the wall and his eyes are open and Jody is just looking at him. Inventory full. Okay.
Well,
That's a new one.
Okay. Bedtime.
Almost. I wonder if I
There
can
we go.
put my stuff away before I go to sleep. Yes,
A
I
little
can.
risky.
I did it!
Okay. You made it! Wow,
Yes!
congratulations! Wow. Amazing.
Yay!
We did it.
We did do it.
Alright. Well, we can start on day 1 of winter next time.
Yay!
Okay. Okay, let's find someone to raid, huh? Is Leo still streaming? That would be handy.
Be fun. I don't know. Yes!
Yes, okay. Yeah, let's go over there then.
Yeah, let's go to Leo's.
Let me get that set up. As always, everybody stick around and get your raid points. You can use them next time.
Yeah, everyone enjoy Leo's stream. And thank you all for being here today again. It's very fun.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. I love you all very, very much.
Yay, 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 yay. Bye-bye.